People are strange. Strange. Something strange.
Is that strange?
That is strange.
Strange.
That is strange.
Well, that is strange. This is strange.
And welcome back to another episode of Strange Sauna. Flex, we are here. It is Diddy's Downfall Part 2, everybody. Woohoo! I'm excited.
Oh my god, there's so much. I'm pretty sure we'll end up doing multiple parts on this.
We got it.
There's so much. There's so much. Even just what has conspired since our last episode.
It's like the flood is coming, you know what I mean? But just real quick, so if anybody hasn't watched part 1, go back and watch part 1. We cover like the charges, what was happening, the initial kind of Diddy's background, and then we kind of get into, you know, like this Jonathan Auty character. There's a bunch of just claims that maybe Diddy's in a secret society. So go check that out. It's really interesting, you guys.
Yeah, it's a good way to start off. And then this sort of the series that we're working on here, folks, will help you sort of piece things together, because we're trying to do it in order that doesn't confuse everybody, because there's so much.
Dude, you're going to get confused no matter what. That's just throwing it out there. So yeah, I mean, yeah, and then you know what, you guys, before we get started, if you like this channel, go ahead and leave a thumbs up, support the channel, beat that algorithm. The algorithm hates this kind of stuff. They hate when you talk about conspiracies. They hate when you talk about just anything that you shouldn't be talking about, right? So yeah, and then leave a rating on Apple
5-star
iTunes. I love reading those ratings. My joke on my other podcast is I read them while I'm taking a poop. Okay, this is my thing in the morning. You know, that's what I do. Man. So anyway, yeah, let's get started with this Diddy, dude. Let's dive into this rabbit hole.
Dive into some Diddy. Yeah, boy, I just literally, I think an hour or two after we got off our show last week, there was another 120 victims that have come out, or allegations. I'm not sure if it's one or the other, but a lot dropped literally within hours after last week's show. With Diddy. Something with even, you know, assaulting 9-year-old children.
Yes. Yeah, there was 120 new allegations. Some of them young as 9 years old. I believe there was 30 some odd minors included in all those. Yeah,
it's pretty nerve wracking, because it is starting, the floodgates start to open up. So in that first video, this guy, again, same guys that we used last week, they did a really good job of tying in on this whiteboard.
The whiteboard dude.
A whiteboard dude. It's a bit of a comedy sketch with the guy sitting down, but again, it's just a good way, I think, to start off the show, where we can talk about, after he's done all that, the connections with his house and his body count. He's like the Clinton of the music industry.
Indeed.
There's so much.
All right, man. Well, here we go.
Deuce, did you hear that Diddler got hit with 120 new lawsuits?
Here we fucking go, the weekly freak report.
In a 10-day period, over 3,000 cases were submitted to a prominent attorney in Houston, Texas, the good brother Tony Busby.
Sleep on Busby, a name like that, he's gotta be good.
Of the 120 people, 50% male, 50% female.
50-50, so everybody gets love.
With the youngest victim, allegedly, being 9 years old.
9? The most vulnerable? Fucking disgusting.
They would go to the hospital after the crimes were committed, get a toxicology report, and on this report, the grand majority of them tested positive for horse tranquilizer.
Oh, shit.
These guys was fucked up.
That would knock out Andre the Giant.
Who has that in abundance? Did he have a stable of horses, or he's just a fucking king freak?
I'm naming corporations, banks, hotels, and pharmaceutical companies, all who knowingly somehow profited off of the king freak.
Secret corporate sponsorships for the freak off?
But this whiteboard is more about his connections to other celebrities.
All right, I'm down to theorize. Let's get into it.
Remember the good sister Britney Murphy?
Oh no, of course I remember Britney Murphy. She was a sweetheart. Former Mrs. Kutcher.
Funny you mentioned that. She did date Ashton Kutcher. Ashton Kutcher was close personal friends with the Diddler. He might have been his most frequent attendee of all parties.
Ashton Kutcher got some of that punk money. He started mixing it up with the wrong type of people.
You saw what he did to Justin Timberlake's guitar.
Earthquake around Drake?
So do you remember there were suspicious circumstances around her death?
Thought it was an overdose.
No, it was not an overdose. Britney Murphy allegedly passed away of the P word.
The P word?
Silent P. Pneumonia.
Oh,
The toxicology report came back and found that she also tested positive and had traces of rat poison.
her shit was laced. Somebody laced her shit.
Was she on the verge of exposing Diddy, who was close personal friends with her ex, Ashton Kutcher?
So Brittany Murphy was gonna expose. And pneumonia, man, too close to home. Miss Porter.
5 months after Brittany Murphy died of pneumonia/rat poisoning, her husband died in the same house of pneumonia as well.
There
Wow.
was traces of it left over. He got it in his system somehow.
Before Brittany Murphy lived in that house, Britney Spears lived in the same home, but she was getting bad energy, bad juju. She called up an exorcist to get rid of all the demons in the house. They came and they did that. She still felt uncomfortable and she left the crib.
Say what you want about Britney Spears, but she's perceptive.
Keep in mind, Kim Porter, Brittany Murphy were serviced by the same coroner. So did Diddy pay off the coroner for both cases of ladies?
I mean, yeah, that's entirely possible.
Ashton Kutcher at one point was America's sweetheart, would you say so?
Yeah, I would say so. My son Kelso had me weak.
So Ashton has ties to Thorn, which is a group against child sex trafficking. Yet somehow he's close personal, if not best friends with Diddy, who's one of the biggest sex traffickers in the country. Was his connection to Thorn just a means for Diddy to traffic and procure girls?
That would be
Yeah.
extremely dark. But is it not possible that these celebrities were at the fucking Diddy parties without getting access behind the freak curtain?
Ashton's too close to Diddy to not know. Sources are also saying that Mila has kicked him out of the crib for what's about to come out.
I recently saw on Twitter, because, you know, I got sources too sometimes, and Mila and Ashton were seen just the other day going food shopping with their kids.
They could have both been clones.
They could have been clones.
That's flex.
So the good sister Jaguar
See?
Wright, she
Exactly.
went on the good brother Piers Morgan show.
Piers Morgan is thirsty.
He was more calling out Jay-Z for his silence.
Is everyone in fucking Hollywood a fucking scumbag?
Jaguar said Jay-Z knew what R. Kelly was up to and was up to similar shit, made him take the fall, and then had Jay-Z's best friend Dream Hampton direct surviving R. Kelly.
To be like, I'm putting all this information out there, that's how little I have to do with it.
And let's shout out Cassie one time for really being the spark plug behind this whole investigation. She was the one brave enough to take a stand and report.
That video is tough to watch. That was disgusting. I am sorry on behalf of all men. Fucking scumbag.
So Diddy's lawyer, he was trying to explain, it's not strange that Diddy bought all the baby oil because he bought it in bulk at Costco.
I saw that Costco was like, we don't carry that much baby oil in bulk. Keep us the fuck out of it.
Theories are now arising that all of that baby oil itself is laced with GHB.
Put it in the Johnsons & Johnson. They're a family company. They can't have anything to do with this.
An alleged victim of the freak-off says not only is it a sexual situation, but these are satanic rituals, and Diddy is the devil.
Satanic diddly.
She says she was under the guidance of Child Protective Services.
So CPS is involved too. They're corrupt and they're sending people to the diddler's compound
Wouldn't
for
doubt it.
diddling. Oh, God.
Now we're moving on to another dark connection. People have theorized that around the time of her death, Aaliyah was on the verge of breaking out of her contract and going out on her own. She didn't even want to get on the plane that eventually killed her, so they made her take a sleeping pill. She boarded that plane
Dang.
unconscious.
No fucking way.
The pilot had traces of coke and alcohol in his system, crashed 200 feet after takeoff. 2 days later, Jay-Z releases an album with her abuser R. Kelly.
Jesus Christ.
Did they have something to do with Aaliyah's death? Did they rock the boat?
Jay-Z is a proud son of Brooklyn, and I refuse to throw him under the bus until I have concrete evidence. But everybody else on this board is a fucking psycho.
Elon Musk yesterday tweeted, "Who could have ever known about all of this?" Aubrey O'Day of Danity Kane said, "Why don't you ask all your friends, stupid?"
Oh, freak off in a Cybertruck or fucking throw up. I can't wait for next week's update. This is an ongoing saga. Disgusting.
I don't know
So
if
much.
did you take notes on that video? I mean, that's like
I did, and that's part of what I'm talking about today. Is
That's
about
the whole
body
episode.
count. That's yeah. What we have to look at here, folks, is Diddy is the Clinton of the music industry, and whether he's doing the dirty deed or someone else is. I have a list about 8, 9, or 10 people that are related, directly or indirectly related with their deaths to Diddy. Not even including Aaliyah. I have Tupac, Biggie, and we'll go through this today. Kim, Heavy D, Andre, I'll Be Sure, the coroner. So the coroner that they're talking about,
Yeah.
you know, there's some stuff on him too. What happened with Jamie Foxx. So this is sort of the Diddy body count.
Yeah, let's go through it, dude. Because like
yeah.
right off the bat, they were talking about Brittany Murphy, and I totally forgot that she dated Ashton Kutcher, dude.
Yes.
And like
yes.
before it was like Tim Ballard, this fake Tim Ballard, dude, like anybody who still believes the Sound of Freedom was based off of a true event, please go look at Red Pill America, watch the documentary that they did. Tim Ballard is a fraud. That whole story was a fraud. Before Tim Ballard, it was Ashton Kutcher. You know, for human trafficking, anti-human trafficking, he was up there making a stand with Demi Moore, of all people.
Yep.
And she was the one actually caught on tape kissing this young child actor, right?
Yeah, actor, like at this after party. And
So
it
like,
was gross.
And I'm like, she's the one
gross.
kind of leading the charge with Ashton on this human child sex trafficking. I'm like, yeah, right. Get out of here.
She could have been the jizz lane of the is lane. You know what I'm saying? The first jizz lane that happened. But yeah, there's a lot to go down here. And where I want to start is obviously what everyone wants to talk about, Tupac. Because that is when the body count really started.
Agreed.
With Tupac. Now with Tupac, before we talk a little bit about the gentleman who was paid money, Tupac relationship with Diddy was very interesting because Tupac was actually, from what they're saying, an open relationship with Kim Porter, and Diddy had an open relationship. And what happened is that Tupac didn't want to do any of the freaky deaky stuff that Diddy was trying to get him to do, almost to the point where he denied it the first time, or he turned it down the first time, saying, look, he was doing stuff with Kim. He did a whole song about
Tupac was?
Tupac
okay.
Doing Kim's wife. There's that very famous song, I F'd Your Wife. And
Diddy's wife or?
Diddy's wife,
okay.
Biggie's wife, everyone's wife. It's very ancestral. It's very ancestral. Well, because you can get past that, if you can get past how ancestral it is, then you're on the right track, folks.
Oh, so here's the deal: is the story that was told to us is this was East Coast West Coast beef, like rap beef, right? Like you have Puff Daddy, Notorious BIG on the East Coast, with Bad Boy Records, and then you had Death Row Records over here, Suge Knight. You got Tupac, and then those two are just going head to head. Sean Puffy Combs is coming over to the West Coast to cause some trouble. And, that's where like the beef really starts. You got like a couple of hits. Tupac went over to New York, and in 1994, there was an alleged hit on him back then. And Tupac thought that Diddy was behind it the entire time because like it happened in an elevator. Yeah. And I guess Diddy kept on calling him like, hey, are you at the elevator? Hey, let me know when you're at the elevator. It's like, well, what happens in the elevator? Oh, he gets shot multiple times. No one else is touched. No one on Diddy's team is touched. It's just Tupac. So it's been kind of like a wild ride with the whole Diddy Tupac this entire time, right?
And that shooting was related to, from what they're saying, that Tupac was like, no, I don't want to do any freaky stuff with you and your wife. And then Diddy came out and said, well, let's have a competition who can make love the best. And that's not the word he used, obviously. And Tupac really kept his distance and was going to expose what was happening. It was kind of like, hey, man, like this is whatever. And that's when the some people kind of overheard a conversation of Diddy and Jimmy Henchman talking about offing Tupac the first time in the elevator. Okay. So when Diddy and Tupac were having a bit of friction because Tupac wasn't into any of that and was going to expose him or something was going on, that's when he got shot in the elevator. So that's not even the reason why he was taken out the first time, or they tried to take him out the first time.
So you're saying the alleged first assassination attempt on Tupac was because of this sexual friskiness thing that he refused to do?
That's what a lot of people are saying. Now,
so it's just an accusation, though. We don't have solid proof.
Do I believe that? I don't know. I've seen videos of Tupac at the age of 17, and he was very gay-like in that video.
I'm most like my mom because I'm arrogant. Totally arrogant. I agree. I have to say it. Like at work, I can't hold a job. I just quit my job today, actually, because I wanted to come and do this. And they wouldn't let me. And I felt like it was important, and it was more important than serving pizza. And we had enough people, so I felt like since I'm an actor, they should understand. They should have let me do it, but they didn't. And then I had a cold, so they were making me work in a freezer. And I'm really not one to be disrespected, and I felt like that was disrespectful because I asked to go, So I quit, and he told me I couldn't quit, and that even made me hyper. I'm arrogant, so when he told me I couldn't quit and we had all these customers, I chose that time to jump on a soapbox, grab my leather jacket, light a cigarette in front of him, smoke, and leave in the middle of a rush. So that was natural. That's arrogance at the top. That's, I think, I'm most like my mother. And she likes it. She'll see it in me and know it. And we clash a lot because I'm arrogant, she's arrogant. And you should see us when we get in our little attitude mood.
Very feminine.
And I keep starting to think that Tupac was an informant or part of this, put on this persona. So maybe him and Diddy were having a bromance, and something had happened. It either comes down to that or money. But that's where I think a lot of people think he got taken out because of that. That was the first attempt in the elevator.
Dude, you know what? Sorry to interrupt, but like when you say this, Keefy D, and we'll get into who Keefy D is, but he was actually on tape saying that he saw Tupac and Diddy looking like they were boyfriends, dude. Yeah. Like getting intimate at this party. Yeah.
Jada Pinkett and Will Smith, you told me before that you was at a party before that they attended, and you said the party was weird.
It was just, seemed like Puff and Tupac was like a couple, seemed like to me. It was just a lot of weird shit going on, you know what I'm saying? The vibes ain't there. I guess that's what Tupac was talking about, the Illuminati and shit. It's like Vivica Fox was with this big gay man. He was 6'9". They called him, his name 6'9". He had the red hair with a big old booty and shit. Nobody was gaying him over. What the fuck is going on here? It's just a lot of weird shit, dude. You know what I'm saying? It ain't right.
Yep. I think Tupac was homosexual. From that one video where he's in a drama school and the way he was talking, and I'm like, whoa, this is so different. And we have to remember these people are playing a role. So if his role was to be thug life, so be it. And again, if that stuff at that time, if that stuff came out, it's even damaging now. But back in the 90s, there was no gay rights marriage. There was none of that. That was very, very can't figure the word
frowned upon.
Frowned upon, exactly. But so that brings us to Keefy, or whatever his name is, which came out just recently that he was paid $1 million to put a hit on Tupac from Diddy. Never got paid the money. And there are several videos of him talking with the police. So the next video, you'll see 50 Cent making a joke about it. Then this gentleman is talking about the police. And in that same video, Diddy is kind of shying away from answering the question. And you can tell he's very
we don't talk about speculation like BS.
Exactly.
Okay, here we go.
What made it a specific, like, hey, I'm serious, I want you guys to kill these guys? Like,
he told me the greenback.
How's it go? How's the conversation go? I mean, okay, listen, I'll do it, but I need $500,000, or, you know, I've got somebody who will do it, but I need $300,000. I mean, we need really specific details regarding that.
Yeah, we want $1 million.
You said you walked downstairs. Did he say, come meet me downstairs?
Yeah, he said, come on downstairs and talk to you.
Oh. He tells you, seriously, man, I need to get rid of these guys. I mean, he's looking at you in the eyes and he's like scared.
Yeah.
In your opinion, the specific reason he asked you to come downstairs and talk to him was about that thing, not about liquor or anything. It was about that. Okay. You tell him we'll do it for $1 million, and he's like, okay, I'll do it for $1 million. He agrees. You shake on it or something like that.
He like, man, we'll wipe out quick. You know, it's nothing.
Who brought up the amount of $1 million?
He did.
Puffy did?
Yeah.
Okay. Wasn't you?
No, it wasn't me.
Yeah, check this out. We don't talk about things that are nonsense. We don't even entertain nonsense, my
nonsense.
Brother. So we're not even going to even go there with all due respect, but I appreciate you as a journalist asking. Thank you.
Because you listen, 7 years ago, I'd have been like, yo, did you hire somebody to kill Pac? But no, you do it like a journalist.
Yeah, no, I mean, we wouldn't even get into nonsense like that. You know what I'm saying? It's nonsense.
Which we never believed, by the way.
Yeah.
Which we never believed anyway, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So that's basically the probably the beginning of all this Diddy stuff. It really started with this guy when he came out and said, I got paid $1 million to put a hit put a hit on Tupac.
Well, dude, so I did a little research into this whole thing. I watched this really long frickin' just like background story on what happened and all this stuff. And apparently there was an investigator named Greg Claddings or something like that. And he was told by Keefy D like over 15 years ago in a private conversation that he was hired to kill Tupac. But the judge said that he couldn't use that private conversation as evidence to take him down. And so this guy's been kind of like doing this background work and knowing what happened this entire time. And now he has this podcast where he's kind of talking about, here's what happened back in the day. Here's what we know about right now. So like this Keefe D character, he was like, what? I don't know how old he was at the time, but he was supposed to go kill Tupac and Suge Knight for $1 million. This guy had like $0. And think about like 1997, $1 million was what, around 2 million, 3 million today?
Probably 2.5, 3 million easily.
So, I mean, that's a shitload of money for someone just coming off the street, right?
Without the inflation we have now, because shit was cheaper back then. So that's a lot of money. And he never got the money.
Yes. Yeah, it was it was Diddy's like partner or something, Eric Von Zip. And according to numerous reports, Eric Von Zip pocketed the $1 million and never gave it to Keefe. And
Good for him.
That is what kept Puffy out of this entire thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. And that's when this all started, because the next in line that we know, the next big murder was Biggie. And Biggie, I don't know if Biggie had a relationship with Diddy. I can't
he did.
see that he didn't. Yeah. I mean.
Oh, you're saying like, was he gay with him?
Yeah. I mean, I'm
he...
kind of sitting there going like, either he knew about it, maybe he was going to say something. But the story is that Biggie was leaving Bad Boys. And the story too was Tupac was leaving Death Row. So it could have been Suge Knight. You know what I mean? There's a lot of gray in this. If you were to leave, excuse me, folks, if you were to leave, we're going to off you.
Well, that's the thing.
That's the case.
Yeah. So like Diddy hired Biggie on Bad Boy Records, right? And they had a good thing going, but then they kept on going to the West Coast for like these tours and stuff. And there was one night where I think it was in Compton or something where Diddy was like, hey, stay here. Like, we're going to go to this awards show and I got a killer party going on Saturday. Biggie was supposed to catch a flight to London to meet good old Clive Davis. And this was like a big thing, right? So like a rapper going to London, like that never happens, right? And so Diddy talked Biggie out of going. Biggie stayed and got killed.
Yep.
And here's the deal is like Diddy and Biggie were supposed to be best buds, dude. And as soon as Biggie got killed, Puff Daddy just went back home. Like he just left.
Yep.
I don't even know if he like went to the funeral. I don't even know if he did. He just made the song and then he got rich off of it. But I'm just saying, like, why would he leave? Why would he consistently want Biggie to go where he knew tensions were high? You know,
it was setting him up. And, you know, I've seen many posts and photos of Mrs. Wallace, Biggie's mom, holding a picture of Biggie and said, if I ever see Puff Daddy, I'll smack him right in the face. She goes, I know what he did to my son. And, you know, again, if he's going to leave, and really Biggie was the backbone of Bad Boy at that time. And if he was going to leave, or anytime you're stepping away from the business or whatever, they will take you out because you're worth a lot more money dead, you know. And then that song "Be Missing You" that Puff put out, he didn't ask the musician Sting for that "Every Breath You Take" kind of.
Oh, really? The riff?
No, he didn't. So he has to pay him $2,000 a day for the rest of his life for that riff. Dang. I saw a video on that. Sting was like, "Yeah, I make $2,000 a day because."
I mean, isn't it worth it? I mean, that's probably pennies now, but like back in the day,
he made tons of money on that. So we got Tupac, we got Biggie, and then I think if we get into a bit of Kim here, because Kim is the connection to the list of 8 or 9 other people I have on this list.
Yeah.
So let's first talk about just a bit of Kim's book. So in this book, apparently she wrote about Diddy's gay relationships. She has footage. There was footage of all the encounters, the names of all the men. In the book, she also talks about Diddy giving Usher STDs and Yeah, others as well.
Underage Usher, by the way, probably.
Underage Usher, yeah. He got sent to the hospital when they had basically anally raped him.
Well, so now Kim Porter was Diddy's wife, correct?
Yes.
For like a couple years, like 3 or 4 years or something. Okay.
She talks about domestic abuse. She talks about how Diddy had a huge fight with Usher's mom about something. Talks about Mary J. Blige getting pregnant by Diddy and Diddy forcing her to get an abortion. So this is what's all supposedly in the book, which now I heard that Amazon has taken off.
That's what I don't understand this because there were numerous people that I heard, like Andre Harrell, the first producer that kind of hired and fired Diddy. He was writing an all tell-all book, and he ended up dying. It's like, I'll be sure.
Any of these dudes, we've got anyone who is writing a book or doing a documentary. So Heavy D wrote a book, was about to write a book or come out, died. Andre died. I'll be sure was working on a documentary, died. And let me explain what happened.
Did he actually die, or did he just catch a coma?
Sorry, he caught a coma. So he caught a coma.
He caught a coma.
Kim had gone to him and said to Albie, I'm running from away from something. And he actually, Albie Sure actually said to Kim, you need to go to the FBI and the feds. And there's actually a post, there's a tweet of it, and it's in one of the videos I showed you that you have, Greg, which we can put up later. And the tweet said, you'll never believe what she's been through. And Diddy got wind of this. And all of a sudden, this dude got a coma. It was in a coma for 2 months with multiple organ failure. So he didn't die, but you had Heavy D die, Andre die from pneumonia. You had Kim apparently died at the age of 47 from pneummonia.
Yep. Britney, what's her name?
Even Donald Trump Jr. was on a podcast joke saying 47-year-olds don't die from this. So even he's even piped in. Kim being poisoned as well before this book come out. So we have Tupac, Biggie, Kim, Heavy D, Andre, maybe Aaliyah, what we're talking about, who got onto the plane. We have also what's happened to Jamie Foxx, which we can talk about as well, because there's some connections with that as well.
Well, let me ask you something. Do you find it weird that Kim's memoir, I guess it's a memoir, not a book. Yeah, it's banned on Amazon now. Do you find it strange that even got out? You know what I mean? Like they let that information get out. And now this
is where I'm torn between why this is being let out and what's being allowed to be let out, what's not being allowed to let out.
Yeah.
I feel it all stems from Diddy's girlfriend, Cassie, and her lawsuit. So basically, she filed a lawsuit against Diddy, a civil one, not a criminal one, a civil one, because the civil one was the gateway. It had the keys to open the door to an actual criminal lawsuit. They settled in 24 hours. Diddy settled with her within 24 hours.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
He also agreed to give his former artists their music rights, but they had to sign an NDA. After 30 years, a lot of them were like, what's going on here? So I think that part of the blackmail was, I have this stuff on you. I've spoken to Kim, Kim had this book coming out. The civil suit led to a criminal suit, because in the 30-page civil suit, there's a lot of articles talking about the trafficking and where she was trafficked. So the foundation of the criminal suit is the trafficking.
Gotcha.
This is how the suit started. So civil suit exposing, he settled with her, he settled with some of his artists. After 30 years, they had to sign NDAs. All of a sudden now, in that 30-page civil suit, they were able to put together a criminal suit on what she talked about in the civil suit of the trafficking, where she had been trafficked. And that was sort of interesting, being like, oh, okay, we're going down the Epstein thing. So, the circumstances from that now, there was that video of him abusing her at the hotel.
Right. So it's like that just corroborates everything, right?
It does a lot. That's why I'm sitting there saying, like, maybe this was the plan to put it all out at one time. That way he just can't squirm. Because
Well,
if
dude,
he
I will
could
tell
get
you.
away with, yeah.
I have a theory. At the end of this episode, we can kind of cover it, but I think it helps tie in to the why now question. It's very interesting. So I want to get your theory on this. I don't know. It's but you got to wait till the end of the episode, everybody.
That's right, because there's so much. I have, like, honestly, guys, I had to write this shit down. There's so much.
Oh
'cause
yeah,
I'm
there's
like,
going to be
I'm
a part 3, maybe part 4.
Oh, easily. And then there's all this covering up. So there's a video, if you want to show, Greg, about the coroner, and he was the coroner for Whitney Houston, Brittany Murphy,
No way.
Michael Jackson, Corey Haim. He did the original autopsy results and found poison in Kim's blood. And
Was
then
that
he
the
got
horse
fi-
tranquilizer that they talked about in the whiteboard video?
Maybe.
Okay.
But he found that there's discrepancy with this poison in his blood. Then he gets fired, and then he passes away from, guess what?
Pneumonia. Can't make it up, everybody.
So, and this is the coroner for Kim.
All right, let's do this.
What happened to Kim Porter's coroner? When Kim Porter passed away, Ed Winter was assigned to be the coroner for Kim Porter's case. Ed Winter worked on countless high-profile cases such as the passing of world-famous celebrities like Whitney Houston, Brittany Murphy, Paul Walker, Corey Haim, and Michael Jackson.
Jeez.
Ed Winter passed away earlier this year. He was the first coroner who examined the cause of Kim Porter's passing. Allegedly, Ed Winter, who initially conducted the original autopsy results, ruled Kim Porter's passing inconclusive because allegedly there was poison found in her bloodstream. Ed Winter found Kim Porter's results inconclusive and wanted further testing done on Kim Porter's blood work. However, he was allegedly fired and replaced by another coroner who ruled Kim Porter's passing from pneumonia.
So,
you can't even make that crap up, dude.
It's interesting to see how so many of these stars die from the same thing. Even Whitney Houston could have been drugged, and that's why she ended up, she ended up drowning probably, right?
Well, so something that they talked about here, that's strange that Michael Jackson came up, dude, because I just heard this today that Lil Rod, he has a lawsuit over this whole Diddy thing as well. So Rodney Jones, Lil Rod, he claimed that Diddy's head of security, Fahim Muhammad, had the power to make people and problems disappear. He also had connections to police. Like Diddy's crew was instructed to basically contact Mr. Muhammad if they ever got in trouble in California or Miami. But this Fahim Muhammad was also the chief of security for Michael Jackson before he died. And it's like, you know, the doctor who gave Michael Jackson this, what was it? Was it?
It's like this milk kind of, oh God. Anyways, it's a sedative to help you sleep, which it's almost like an anesthesia. It's a type of anesthesia.
So it's just like, what are the connections here? Like the chief of security for Michael Jackson is now the chief of security for Diddy. And apparently he can make people disappear, make your problems go away for you.
We're talking some evil shit here, folks. And there's a lot that's been going on for decades, centuries, but in our lifetime, decades. And if we think this is just, if this is new, if you're new to this, being like, what the heck? I mean, I found out all about this in 2020. And there were people that knew about this stuff for decades that have been trying to tell us. We always knew Hollywood was weird. We always knew, these rich people had these parties and, outlandish houses and materialistic things that they have. To have that, you got to play by their game. And to play by the game, you got to make some deals. And some of these deals are being compromised. It's all about the compromise. It's all about, and if you're at the point now where people, if you're still thinking this is just a coincidence, I will reach through this camera and just pop your head like a pimple, folks.
Oh boy.
there's way too many coincidences. After 2 or 3, it's mathematically impossible. And I don't know, like you were saying, Greg, is this done to awaken people, to start this revolution of people not putting these people on pedestals, or is it their karmic retribution and Diddy's just a scapegoat because there's people above him?
Dude, or, and like I was saying, we'll get into it at the end here, but was it just too much of a power grab for Diddy? Was he on his pedestal and he wanted more? And like seeing that trend in his life, that is what he is, dude. He never has enough. And like he reached into the wrong honeypot and his hand got slapped big time. So
I think the most recent Diddy body count that didn't happen was Jamie Foxx. A lot of people think that Diddy, there's a connection with Diddy.
Good old Diddy.
Diddy and Jamie Foxx, and I got some notes on that too. So some people were saying it's from the you-know-what, that he took the you-know-what to be in this movie.
The Miracle Medicine.
But there is this bro romance that they had, and something went wrong. Something went wrong. And a lot of people think that Jamie Foxx was on TV talking a little too much about these freak-off parties. That's the one thing that got people to go, oh, you know, he's talking too much. Another thing is during this time, Jamie Foxx was overseas and he had to come back to the U.S. to meet with the U.S. attorneys about this Joe Low billionaire fraud scheme. So there was a fraud scheme that was, and it's interesting because I remember hearing it in the news, but it didn't last very long. And it involved Jamie Foxx, Leonardo DiCaprio, the Kardashians, and basically they were sort of partying, kicking it with this con man who defrauded the Chinese sovereign fund.
Dude, wait, let me interrupt. Was this where Leonardo DiCaprio had to go testify in court?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So Jamie Foxx had to come back apparently from Europe to deal with this. And then literally within 2 months later, the feds are kicking down Diddy's door. So maybe during this conversation, there was, hey, we're going to put you away for this if you can give us something good. And he just gave them something left field. Oh, by the way, Diddy does this to people and videotapes people. And that might have been where apparently Diddy's crew beat up Jamie Foxx, because he was on CNN at one point saying he disappeared for about 20 days and he was saying he didn't want people to see him that way. So I think Jamie got beat up one time, almost sort of like they did to Tupac. They were kind of like, hey, shut your mouth. And then something happened where the second time they're saying that, you know, Jamie even leaked on it, you know, he started leaking these videos or started talking about the industry. Jamie just leaked a TikTok video of him filming the Cowboys owner talking about big penises and the size of the penises.
What?
So I couldn't find the video.
Okay. I'll try to find it.
I just read it. I just remembered it today. But Jamie's filming himself and he's sitting in the stands and he turns around and the Cowboy owners,
Jerry Jones.
He's like, yeah. He's like, oh, you know, I'll take a big 7-inch penis. He doesn't use the word penis and stuff like that.
Dang, dude.
5'9.5", 210. 5'9", 210. 441. Okay. 9 3-inch head. 8.5-inch dick.
So was he giving away too much? Was his beat up not enough? And then they ended up drugging him, because it sounded like he was in a coma. It's almost the same thing that I'll Be Sure had. Like, it's this drug, which is probably why Diddy is not wanting to eat in prison, because they actually have a heart attack gun and they actually have this drug, which if it is horse tranquilizers.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we touched on that on the first episode. Yeah.
Yeah. And the HB, what is it called? GBH?
GHB.
Thank you.
One of those arrangements of letters. I don't know.
Something ABC 1 2 3.
Yeah. But I mean, some people are even like, GHB is just a steroid or something that bodybuilders use. It's not even like a big thing. Like, they're making it out to be bigger than what it is, but I don't know.
the fact of the matter, and I agree with you, Greg, when you brought this up last week, there's no reason to have 1,000 bottles of baby oil.
Right.
So it's either liquid cocaine or it's something used to drug people.
Yeah.
And I think the pattern we're seeing here is Epstein, like, have parties, drug people, make them do things where they're compromised, and or you agree to it to move up in your career, which maybe Jamie Foxx had to, Bieber had to.
Well, dude, I mean, Diddy's on camera saying, like, you know, I got into business with these people and eventually you got to pay your dues. And like, what is pay your dues? You know, how far do you have to go? And like, how far do you have to bend over?
Everybody has a journey, and that's just really how, you know, corporate America works. You gotta pay your dues to get in, and they make us prove ourselves over and over and over.
You know,
I think that's the physical realm of selling your soul. I think when they sign the contract, they're selling their soul through pen and paper, but the physical one is, that's it. You got to pay your dues. And I think people have been approached and they're just, you know, singing like canaries. And maybe Jamie Foxx sang like a canary when he went to do this disposition about this fraud with this billionaire, and maybe something slipped out and they decided we're going to beat him up a little bit or do something to him.
Well, dude, so what, Jamie Foxx posting a video of Jerry Jones, he like humiliating him, talking about Big Black D, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that's going to get you in trouble, dude. Because like when these guys have a lot of money and they have a lot of power and you step on their toes, they will retaliate in a way that will make you pay, you know?
Yeah. And sometimes you're paying sexually, sometimes you're paying financially, because they can take your money off, stop giving you money.
Exactly.
You know, or they take your life.
Yeah.
Or they ruin you. You know, they either ruin you in the media, they try to bankrupt you, they try to get you criminally charged, or they take your life, which, you know, Trump has talked about that. Andrew Tate's talked about that, where, you know, they don't fuck around here, guys. Like, they literally are like, that's why, you know, you can't say anything. Like, why are no stars talking about any of the support and to stop the trafficking? They will talk about Ukraine, LGBTQ. They're not allowed to. They're not allowed to, because you'll be off. They'll be offed, or if you're not off, they will cut your money, which they did to Ryan Garcia, the boxer Ryan Garcia. They shut his money down.
But that's why I think Ashton Kutcher was put out there in the first place. I think he was put out there as a front for celebrities to talk about this trafficking issue. They're like, oh, well, celebrities don't talk about it. They're like, well, look at Ashton Kutcher. He's out there talking about it. You know, he's doing something. So the celebrities are doing something. And
I liked him. I liked him on shows, but he's friggin' scumbag.
Dude, he's up there.
And to be an executive board member of Torn or whatever, and it's just like, yeah, man, you're just a wolf in sheep's clothing. They all are. They all are. You know, it's absolutely sickening. It'll be interesting to see where this goes, because this is and could be the fall of the industry, meaning Hollywood and the music industry, before you even start getting to your politicians, right? I think before you can expose politicians, we have to expose these guys. And I don't know where this is going, Greg. I'm kind of intrigued with it more than ever, because it's gone further than any of the Epstein stuff, anything else. So I'm very intrigued with it, but I'm also scared in the sense of, how will the libtards and all these woke people take this? Because I see videos of people doing those pranks where they're like, oh my God, you know, Michael Jordan just died, and they show videos of people, oh my God, and freaking out. It's like, you should never freak. Listen, I'm a Hulk Hogan fan. If he passes away, I'm not going to have a video of me freaking out. Who's my childhood hero, you know, whatever, yada, yada, yada. But they put these people on pedestals, and that's what worries me, is how the people will handle that.
I don't think this is going to get as big as people think. I think that it will be scoped. I think several big people might fall down because of this, but I do think that this is punishment for Diddy and Diddy alone. And now I would like to get into this topic that I said that I was going to save for the end of the show, because this could be a 15, 20 minute discussion here.
Okay.
But where I wanted to go, and I wanted to thank a viewer who commented on YouTube and her name is Linda Garrison. So thank you for leaving a comment about Diageo. Now, do you know what Diageo is, Flex?
I have no idea.
I had zero clue what this was until I saw that comment, and I went down the rabbit hole. So Diageo is this British multinational spirits corporation. So they sell alcohol valued at over $81 billion. Okay.
I do know who this is now. Yes.
When you're thinking big pharma, big banks, this is big liquor.
Yeah.
So it's based out of London, England. It operates at 132 different sites around the world. So this thing is worldwide big liquor. Their portfolio includes brands such as Johnny Walker, Guinness.
Yeah, they're huge.
Crown Royal, Don Julio, Bailey's, Smirnoff, Captain Morgan, dude, everything, right?
Yeah.
So their top institutional stockholders or their stakeholders include, guess who?
BlackRock? Vanguard?
Vanguard's not on there.
Oh.
But Wells Fargo is. Morgan Stanley. Bank of America.
Okay. Follow the money, folks. It's the same with everybody. Wow.
So this Diageo, you had this Diddy entered an equal partnership with Diageo in 2007. And this was for the marketing and promotion of Ciroc. Now, before Diddy came on board, Ciroc was selling 45,000 cases a year of this Ciroc vodka. I believe it's vodka.
Yeah.
And he's like, they were going to sign a deal with Diddy was going to sign a deal with Diageo saying hey, let's create a new product for you. We'll launch it from the ground up and we'll get going in there, blah, blah, blah. Diddy was looking through the portfolio and he said, I saw Ciroc and I remember tasting it and I loved it. I was partying with it and all this shit. He was probably diddling some people with it. But he was like, let me show you what I could do with Ciroc. So he took Ciroc from 45,000 cases a year to over 200, 2 point something million cases a year, right?
Wow.
He just blew it up. And he ends up making a partnership with Diageo. They co-purchased this De Leon tequila brand with Combs in 2013. So you have Ciroc and De Leon. Those are the Diddy products now under Diageo.
Got the vodka and the tequila, yeah.
Yeah, and so, I mean, we're talking about this is how these people get rich, people. Diddy didn't get rich from his music. He got rich from the booze.
Yeah.
And George Clooney, he became a billionaire because of his tequila through Diageo. So I'm just saying.
Another scumbag, but we'll talk about him another day.
Yeah, but I mean, these people are the top Don Juans of the freaking industry here. Okay. So it's if you mess with these guys, they will take you down. So here's what happened. In May of 2023, Diddy sued Diageo, accusing them of neglecting his Ciroc vodka and De Leon tequila brands. And he was saying that they were marginalizing the appeal by marketing them as urban brands, quote, urban brands.
Right.
And so he claimed that Diageo also sabotaged his De Leon brand tequila with shoddy packaging that made the product, quote, look cheap.
Cheap, yeah.
While showing off other celebrity brands such as George Clooney's Casamigos tequila, more attention, resources, the distribution, and all this stuff, right? So he was seeing the amounts dwindling, and he was saying, it's because I'm black. You know, he threw out the race card. He sues Diageo. So this whole thing is going on for a while. This is in May of 2023. What happens in November of 2023? Cassie Ventura files the lawsuit against Diddy.
Starts the ball rolling.
Right? So in May 2023, Diddy sues Diageo. A couple months later, you have Cassie now coming out with all these accusations. Right? Then in January 2024, both parties, so Diageo and Diddy, settle. They resolve their legal dispute, but Diddy gets everything taken from him. So Diageo took over Ciroc. They took over De Leon. Diddy had to retract all of his statements. So this didn't do anything for Diddy. It basically caused a gigantic problem for him. But here's the deal: is you have people out there saying that Diageo is after Diddy, and that's why all this shit's happening.
Mm-hmm.
So 50 Cent, for instance, he came out saying that Diddy's beef with Diageo is what turned his civil case into the criminal case faster. I mean, all this shit was going to come out no matter what, but here's the deal: is like
just accelerant to the fire. They just basically lit a match and got it going quicker.
Yeah. But I'm thinking, you know, if you're Diageo, this is just me speculating, people, okay? I'm not saying this is true or false. But if you're Diageo and you have money in judges, you have money in the police force, you have money in making things happen as far as let's have this case go away. If Diageo says to the judge, hey, let's fast track Diddy's case, turn it from a civil into a criminal case, and throw everything you got at him. I'm just saying it makes kind of some sense here, but
it makes a lot of sense. And because there's so much on Diddy, it's such an easy case for them because they're like, hey, we've got all this on them. There's this book, there's her lawsuit, there's all these people coming out. So this alcohol company literally just threw alcohol on Diddy and lit him up. They just,
right?
Because there's so much. There is so much. And that's the thing is, you said earlier, I think Diddy was on his high horse, on his pedestal, was trying to just maneuver and muscle his way. And because they've gotten away with it for so many decades, that includes the politicians and stars and athletes and everything, this whole Illuminati or the elites, they've gotten away with it for so long that they don't fear that the spotlight will ever be shown on them, let alone their career extinguished. And that's why I'm sitting there going, this is intriguing to me, because I'm like, this is going a lot further than I ever thought it would be. And I did remember reading about this last week.
But so
I'm
here's
glad
the
you brought
deal.
it up, because I totally forgot about the whole lawsuit.
Yeah, well, so Diageo, you have record companies, you have producers, all of these people go to the parties, right? Because you got to sponsor your product at these parties. I mean, what do you think they're drinking at these freak-offs?
Yeah.
Like Ciroc and De Leon, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's kind of like the window into all of this stuff. So they know that Diddy, they know all the dirt that Diddy is doing. Because it's like, okay, to sell this product, you got to throw these parties. And what are you doing at these parties? I don't want to know. But I found out maybe. And if we're going to go after you, whoever was under your umbrella, they're going to collapse too, you know?
Yeah.
So they don't give a shit, dude. They're saying like, if you're going to humiliate us, saying that we're racial profiling and we're you know, you're coming after us, you're getting our name in a lawsuit in the news. That's enough, dude. That's enough to say like, saying that we're racist, hell no. We're going to stomp you. We're going to put you out. You're going to wish you never lived. And that's what Diageo is doing to Diddy here. But so here, this is 50 Cent. I have a video. This is a conversation at Invest Fest 2024. And 50 Cent is comparing his experience with working with Bean Centuri with what Diddy's going on now with this legal debacle with Diageo. And he says that things can get complicated when stars demand ownership of certain brands. All right, so check this out.
You have the experience with major corporations like me, my particular experience with Beam Centauri. It was great in the beginning. It's great for us to work for them. It is not so cool when you start to own things. You see what I'm saying? So I made a lot of money with them too. Like there's a point, they did a deal that mirrored what Puffy's deal with Diageo was for Ciroc. So he didn't have ownership of that at any point, but he was getting a lot of money, like almost like $60 million a year at one point. So you see him go to De Leon is when you see him have some issues. And these people have really strong relationships. Don't think that the civil case doesn't turn into a criminal case faster because he's making them uncomfortable. That's a big part of it. The spirits business it's not governed. They got a discus board that they created, right? If you got two companies that are $3 billion a year, and Beam Centauri and Diageo, the distribution level is very hard for you to get things to a point where you can do the right numbers. They incentivize the sales force by giving them box bonuses. And then when you sell a product, you get the bonuses off the boxes that's there. But you make that no matter what product you're selling. So if you sell Hennessy or Remy out the gate, they start to put downward pressure on the new companies.
You know, he's not the only one saying this.
No.
So there was Dr. Umar, and I'm not really sure who this Dr. Umar is, but he also claims that Diageo was after Diddy, and he's concluding that Diageo likely reached out to King Charles III.
Oh, wow.
Who allegedly had Joe Biden take Diddy down through the DOJ.
Man, the tentacles go so far and wide.
Right?
Holy cow.
So, like, Diddy...
To have that guy on your roller deck. See, I'm going to call King Charles III. Let him know what I think. Like...
So now, I don't know. I mean, so Dr. Umar, I don't know who this is, but it's like... He's Umar Johnson. He's an American psychologist, better known by Dr. Umar. He's an American black activist, psychologist, and motivational speaker. So, I mean, I don't know what his background is. He might be kind of like saying just because Diddy's black, they're going after him, maybe. But here's my deal is, Diddy did some bad shit. He beat up Cassie Ventura in that video. That's proof. We have all of these accusations coming forward. And yes, I know you have to kind of weed through the accusations to get to the real meat and potatoes, but there's more here. It's not that Diddy's a good guy and they're going after him for like stuff that they shouldn't. No. They know what they set him up to knock him down if he went against him, and he went against him, dude. But check this video out. This is a little bit longer video. It's about 3 minutes, so we can stop it if it gets a little out of hand. But this one's pretty interesting, dude. Talking about the King Charles and the DOJ.
He had an agreement with them where they would help him market his De Leon tequila brand. And Diddy took issue with Diageo because they had described the De Leon tequila liquor, Puffy's brand.
So just real quick, he calls Diageo Diego. I don't know why, but just so you guys know.
Okay.
They described it to their customer base as if it was an inner city, urban, quote unquote, ghetto, hip hop type of liquor. And Puffy took issue with that because he said, I'm a global icon. I'm a hip hop mogul. Don't limit my product just to black people. And by doing that, you're dissuading white people and non-blacks from buying my liquor. You're cutting my sales low. And I think you're doing it on purpose because you don't want De Leon tequila to outsell all your other European controlled brands. So Puffy accused Diageo of racial discrimination in advertising and marketing. Diageo got upset with Puff, British-based company. They said, you done already made $1 billion off of us. How dare you sue us and try to make a few more billion off of us? Diageo and Puff settled out of court in January 2024. Puffy's homes are raided in March. There's no way you're going to convince me that a company that powerful, Diageo operates in 180 of 194 countries in the world. They operate in 180 out of 194 countries in the world. You are not going to convince me that 1 + 1 does not equal 2. There is no way they were forced to settle with Puffy in January, and less than 2 months later, his homes are raided. Watch this timeline. He sues Diageo in the spring. Cassie comes out in the fall. He settles with Cassie in 24 hours. Diageo is watching this. So when Diageo decides to settle with Puff outside of court, they did this knowing full well we about to go after you and destroy you. You are messing with the Illuminati. You have no idea who you effing with, Sean Combs. And when Puff was so quick to settle with Cassie, that showed the whole world he was vulnerable. That showed the whole world he had skeletons in his closet. And do you know what I think Diageo did after they settled with Puff? I bet you after they settled with Puff, they probably never even made it to the airplane. They picked up the phone and they called King Charles III. And they said, dear monarch, we need you to dial in a favor for us to President Joe Biden. Because this Sean Puffy Combs, this little nigga out of New York City, he think he can go to war with the big boys and not pay the consequences. Sean Puffy Combs, that hip-hop king out of New York, he think he can tell white people what to do. He think he gonna rob us for a couple $2 billion and get away with it. It's not going down. Dear King, please make that call on behalf of your citizens. That's what I believe happened.
Crazy stuff, dude.
That's what I'm scratching my head at is by going and taking Puffy down, they could be taking down the whole system.
Exactly, right?
So I'm sitting there
so
saying,
that's where I'm thinking, I think it's going to be a limited in scope. I don't think they're going to go after everybody. That's why I think the feds went in to scrape off the cream of the crop. Let's hide these videos. Let's expose these, because the public is now expecting the skeletons in the closet to be exposed. That's what he was just saying. The Cassie lawsuit being settled in 24 hours, something's going wrong here, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So we need to know who's involved. That's why you're seeing all of these celebrities being listed. DiCaprio, Kutcher, Ashton Kutcher, J-Lo.
Jay-Z, J-Lo, Beyonce, Kevin Hart. It's just like...
So, and that's the thing, dude, is... I think that we will get some justice and we will have some satisfaction of some celebrities and this cabal being exposed, but it's not going to be the people we want. It's not going to bring down the entire system. It's like those people are still in control, man. You know, they got a lot of money and they're showing what they can do to a powerful person. You know what I mean? Because it is the question. It's like the question is why now? Yeah. And you'll have like the Q people saying, well, it's the celebrities. It's the plan, man. You know, everything's about to be exposed.
Dark to light. Yeah.
I can kind of see that, but I don't think everybody's going down the way that they think they're going down.
Greg, even if it does, they have more than enough people to replace those people. So even if the top people go down, these are some evil people. The tentacles stretch far and wide, that if Hollywood was to go down, it would be rebuild itself in a decade or two with brand new
and what they want,
puppets. They're puppets.
They want puppets that will do what they're told. And Diddy Combs did what he was told, but he wants more. And now he's getting to the point where he's always been doing this, from all the lawsuits, from the attempted assassinations from Tupac to Biggie. Like, he wants to be the kingpin at the top. Yeah. So he's going to take out everybody. But once you get to a certain point, there's bigger fish than you do. So,
and isn't that interesting that someone as high up as he was or is, or still maybe, I don't know, that a liquor company could take him down?
It's not just a liquor company, dude. That's the thing, is like
that's
with
the
this
front. That's the front. Yeah, it's the front.
When you have that much money worldwide, you're in like the monarchy, probably. I haven't like done any research into this whole Diageo like web, but I mean, look who the stakeholders are.
Yeah.
Wells Fargo, Bank of America, BlackRock.
Yeah.
Every investor is there saying Diddy's got to go. He's just he's a loudmouth. He's got too much intention, and he kills people. So
and they'll sacrifice him because there's enough crap in the media going on that a lot of what we want will just be covered up. You know, like you know, we haven't even heard a lot about Diddy in the last bit this week because of the hurricane that was going on and the stuff, the hurricane that just happened. So it does get swept under the rug, unfortunately, where people such as ourselves get this moment of hope, and then we're like, you know, that's not the people we want to see get taken down. But we'll see, because Trump said he's going to expose that Epstein list, and this might help with the Epstein stuff, but I'm not holding my breath. I've been holding my breath for 4.5 years. And I've died 5 times and come back to life. That's how many times I've died.
It's like, why all of a sudden, why is Trump the arbiter of truth for the Epstein list? Like, what gives him the power to release these names? Come on, man.
Could have done it in your first term, bro.
Yeah. And so this, I believe, this is the Diddy body count, pretty much, right? This is our episode, the Diddy body count. The next episode, let's go Love Island, dude. Let's just talk about the island, the freak offs, stuff.
Voodoo shit. There's a lot of we're just scratching the surface, folks.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting things with J-Lo and Diddy, Love Island. Like, there's just, there's a lot to get into with the nitty-gritties on the details of sexual encounters, things that have happened, and accusations. So that's the thing is there's a lot of just surface circumstantial evidence right now. So
yes and no. And a lot of it's in the news, and it's actually, they're doing press conferences saying this is what we're doing. Word circumstantial is who are the people involved, because they haven't released those names, but they have said there's some high up people,
correct,
even higher up than Diddy, that may take the fall or should take the fall. And that's on the news. That's the investigators saying that. So it's circumstantial as to who's involved name wise.
Yeah.
But you just have to follow, go down a couple videos and you see the Kutchers, the Kevin Harts, the LeBron James, ain't no Diddy like a Diddy party, you know, whatever. Like,
come on.
Now you're wishing. That's why these mofos are deleting their tweets and their posts. But, I think part 3 will be very interesting, because now we're getting into some more probably satanic shit. I don't know.
Yeah, it gets crazy, dude.
It does.
But all right, Flex, killer episode. No pun intended. But yeah, the Diddy body count goes deep, and we're probably only just scratching the surface on the Diddy body count, to be honest with you.
Yeah, this is what I could just find right now, and I'm like, oh boy. As soon as we press stop record, like last week, who knows what will come out tonight?
Something
in
new.
The next few days. By the time we do next week's show, it could be enough for part 4. Like, we're actually almost ahead of ourselves now.
Dude.
That's okay.
So
we're
much
here to entertain.
All right, everybody. Well, hey, hopefully you enjoyed the episode. If you did, leave a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts.
5-star.
And yeah, go ahead, rate on Spotify, and leave us a comment on YouTube. It helps us dig and dive, just like the Diageo. So thank you again. I believe it was Linda Garrison. Could be getting
that was great. That was good. Thank you, Linda.
Thank you so much, everybody. And then until next time, stay steamy
and alive. Stay away from Diddy.